Hello. Day 68.
Day 68.
Mm-hmm.
I feel better today. I did some jump squats upstairs.
You jumped in the air?
Yep, and then some squats.
Show us.
I can't
Stand
do
up and do it. Stand up and do it.
can't.
No, do it.
There's
do
not
it.
enough space.
There is. Just jump up and down. Just show us how you jump.
Well,
you don't have to do the squat part. Just do the jump part.
Well, no,
Come on!
I don't want to. I'm too shy. I jump for kids.
Don't even jump for me. Show me.
I'll show you later.
So, one of my kids at the orphanage did this today. Today's day 68. She did a good job. The other one did this one. That one of them came out. So Nelson is parking.
Savior
is the name of the car. It's not sacrilege, I promise. Here
really
tonight at our
saves the
hotel
day.
to save gas. Oh my goodness, I need more caffeine. To save gas. And God bless Paige. She did my noonday thing for me today.
Thank you, Paige.
She's trying to introduce noonday to a whole section of people that's never heard of it by herself today. Where'd it go, Paige? The Contigo bracelets, I got one with my product credit. They're about to sell out, so that's good. We are back home, so we're not going to go. So we've been to the orphanage 13 times. Today we did a jump rope, although I bought the jump rope on the way there, but it was like a light up jump rope and it was plastic, and they broke it within the first hour. Not being destructive, the girls, but they were so good at it, and they could do doubles. So like jump ropes are huge. So if you guys are thinking about sending something, you need like indestructible like jump ropes, but like they're good at it. And they're doing it barefooted in like the concrete and gravel. I was like, oh, I guess your feet are okay.
Mine couldn't hang with that.
No, I'm like, I think I can jump rope still. I used to be good at it.
So this is funny to me. So Nelson leaving the car here. Here's what he has to do to go home. He takes a cab.
He wants to save the gas for us because we've been putting gas in his car.
He takes a cab to Boys Town, which is on the way to his house, and then he'll jump on the back of a motorcycle and just ride home.
Yeah, he used to have a motorcycle for a little while when he was really young, and then he was a taxi cab driver for a while.
But it's so interesting,
before he went to work
just the lifestyle. It's so cheap. He said it would cost him like what he said. Did you say 200 LD?
He said depending on how far, the motorcycle ride for sure would be like 200 Liberian dollars, for like 50 cents.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, just 50 cents.
It's a different world, people getting around.
Unless you're white, and then you'll get a different price.
That'll be 500.
So I have my eye on these big, colorful bags that like is big enough to be like a laundry basket, or maybe even put my 7-year-old inside.
You could.
And I asked him what they were made from. We found out one that's like only $35, so may get it. They make purses too that are smaller, but these are like big ones, and I'm like, okay, I need that. I've been eyeing them. They don't sell them everywhere, but they're made from. I was asking him what they were made from, and I was like, are they recycled? He's like, no. He's like, I don't know the word for it in English. I'm gonna have to do some research to explain it to you better. But it comes from a plant, like out in the bush, and then they weave it together to make these bags. And I'm like, these should be a noonday product.
That makes it awesome.
Yeah. And then one thing that I've never seen with like Noonday or Crown Free or any of these direct sales, artisan entrepreneurial support companies, Seiko is like the baby carriers, like the wraps, like the the ring slings, and the wraps, like the woven wraps. And I was like, what do you call those here, Nelson? And he was like, lapas. They're called lapas. But women carry their babies around. I'm like, this is like the thing now in the US. Like it's gotten really, really popular to baby wear. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to, because he said that his wife, Pauline, was thinking about trying to figure out some type of business to do where they could hand make products here and sell them in the U.S. and like clothing and stuff. And I'm like, well, what about the lapas? So, and like, especially like breastfeeding has really gained popularity in the U.S. in the last 5 years. So like breastfeeding covers that are also like baby wrap, like you can carry your baby on your back. Would be good. So I'm like gonna talk to her more about that, and he's like, yeah, we know you guys are stressed out with your adoption, and we don't want to like, I'm sure his wife would like to talk about these ideas with me, but we were talking today about my noonday side hustle, and I'm like, Nelson, no matter how stressed out I am, I always got time to talk about a side hustle.
That's right.
Because especially for them. So we were talking today too. I was asking him how many kids, because we've talked about how many kids come to the orphanage at Small World needing help and needing adoption, needing just a safe place to be. And we've talked to you guys about that. Nelson, his orphanage home is not for adoption. It's just to raise kids here in Liberia. They're working on expanding it. Right now, he's got 30 kids that he's responsible for.
28.
Well, 28 on site. One of them's at school, and then, of course, Rejoice. It's a different situation, but he still counts her in with his...
I did not get my Rejoice hug today. I'm sad
She was asleep. I got a hug from her.
You did?
Yeah. Well, man, I didn't really get as much of like... She's not as much of a hugger unless you ask for a hug. She hugs you? Oh, Uncle Jerry. Okay.
That's right.
I have to ask her for a hug. She was asleep when we got there. She's doing good, though. She did some coloring today. I made all the kids, before they could get their colored pencils from me, they had to say, please, and they had to ask for the color. So they had to say, I want yellow, please. Instead of just grabbing everything from me and mobbing me like I'm some type of, I don't know, mountain to climb or tear down, I guess. I'm like, stop. I'm like, you must, one at a time. And then one little boy was being so violent. He smacked one of my kids. He was flailing around. He's doing it to get attention. He pushed a kid down, and the kid got hurt. And then he did a
cartwheel, and his foot landed on this kid's face when he was coming down. I was like,
oh, it was a big crash. But he will not listen. And I'm like, listen, you're not going to color if you're not going to be cool. And he just kept it up. And I was like, fine, no coloring for you. And he just kept standing right beside me, like hoping I was going to give in. I'm like, dude, no, you can color next time. Then he got kind of sad, and he looked at me like the puppy dog eyes, like.
It was kind of like a kung fu movie when he did it.
But it was too much, and I'd already told him like 3 times to like stop. Stop smacking the girls and running. They're not going to chase you. And if they do, they're going to beat you when they do catch you. Like, stop being extra. And but I think he learned his lesson, because I told one of the nannies, I was like, I didn't let him color because he was being a little crazy. And she goes, he will behave next time, I bet. This will be good for him. She was very supportive of my... positive reinforcement, because everybody was coloring, and he's like, I want to color, and I'm like, I don't want you to slap people in the face. It was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he played with other things. He was totally fine, but he stood by me, and then he just circled back and kind of looked at me. He played with the jump rope with them a little bit.
For me today, though, I really noticed that our Liberian daughters, they sit on my lap a lot when we're there.
They're pretty clean today with you.
And I love it. But this was cool. So big hugs. And the youngest Liberian daughter gave me a long hug, like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, she didn't want to sleep.
She was just smiling and laughing at my jokes, and I think she gets most of what I'm saying, and so was the older one, just smiling. We weren't sad today. It was like, I think they're just kind of getting really comfortable with us.
The older one definitely talks to us a lot more, because she'll talk to me about stuff, and she'll answer questions for me when the other kids are being a little crazy. Yeah. And the thing is she's only 7. She'll be 8 in May, and she knows her birthday. So I wondered if any of them actually knew their birthdays. They do. They know their birthdays. So if you have a kid that's over there, they know their birthday for sure. So if you're sending packages or whatever, even if it's something small, the nannies there, they make a cake for them. They don't have an oven on site, so I'm working to see if we can. There's an electric oven that you can buy for between $150 and $200 that you can plug in. And now that their power supply, they have the stronger current now through the governmental whatever. They had to get all these hookups when we first got here. They were running off just solar, but they have enough juice now that they could run it. And I really considered just going out and buying them a $150, $200 oven so that they can bake cakes for these kids on site. But what one of the nannies will do is, I guess she bakes it at home. Maybe ices it there. Our oldest daughter is going to turn 11 while she's here, and we've asked them if she can have her party there, if she can have her birthday party there, because she had asked me, can I have my birthday party here? Because we had told her we really didn't bring presents for you, we have a few small things. Thank you, Michelle, for bringing for me. But really, I mean, we're gonna have to celebrate her birthday the way we traditionally do it when we get home. However, she showed us this cake she had made for a kid that it's their birthday. I guess tomorrow. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. It was a big cake, and
big cake shaped like a heart.
Shaped like a heart, and she was asking our oldest daughter what her favorite colors were. So I'm just this would be so much easier, because all they have is a stove top, or they can cook over an open fire, like the charcoal. It's it's not it's leaves, it's like a bunch of. They call it charcoal, but it's not rocks like we would think for charcoal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that's what they call it. It's bunched up with leaves, and it just burns slower. I'm not really sure. But anyways,
We're learning a lot.
Yeah, so we still don't have any news about our adoption. I think we are a little more upbeat when we get to visit them. And then like we're not gonna go tomorrow or Sunday. We're gonna go back on Monday. Kind of give them the weekend and give us the weekend to kind of. What I've learned is we can stay longer on Saturdays, but the thing about it is I feel like our kids when we leave them on Saturday after we've been there from like 11 to 4 or 5. First of all, I feel like the nannies feel pressure to feed us, and I'm like. I feel bad them cooking for us, although it's good when they feed us.
Really good chicken.
The plantains are fantastic. But I think the transitions are harder for the kids because they don't have like their regular rhythm, like they go to school, they come home, they change clothes, they come play, we're there, then they all do their shower thing. And then they, they have supper and then they go to sleep. And they all drink Ovaltine tea. They call it tea, but it's Ovaltine, like mixed. They want you to put a cube of sugar in it. We learned from Hannah.
Yeah, the Davenports helped clear that out.
But it was really sad. So Hannah Davenport, who just went home, one of the little 3-year-old girls who just loves her, was asking for her. And she looked sad when we left. And I was asking the orphanage director who was there today while we were there. And I said, why is she sad? And he said she's asking for Hannah. When is Hannah coming back? Because she's probably 3. I know she's 3. And she's not matched. I guess we can say that she's 3 and she's not matched. I don't think she has siblings either. Yeah. There's a lot of singletons that aren't matched, but she's on the younger end of the kids that aren't matched. And so I hope whoever is matched with her, I hope they live close to Tennessee because she is very, very bonded to probably she can. And the thing is when the kids come in, the older kids really take them in and they kind of match each other by personalities. Like you can kind of see Hannah's a little more shy, a little more quiet. I can totally see how she gravitated towards this little girl. But Hannah's probably always been there. So today was a hard day for that little 3-year-old because she misses her. And they bond like siblings. So that's another thing. If you're one of the waiting families and you're like, there's no sibling groups that really fit like true biological sibling groups, so we kind of think maybe we want 2, because a lot of you guys have told me you want 2 or you're licensed for 2. It doesn't have to be a sibling group. Like you can adopt 2 kids from the orphanage that are bonded to each other that get along well. I mean, you can talk to the nannies, talk to the orphanage director, or not the nannies, I don't know, they're giving input, but the orphanage director knows who kind of runs with who and who gets along well with who.
Yeah.
And they can help you with that because it's very possible to adopt 2 non-biological siblings from that orphan because they're very much like siblings, all of them. It's kind of crazy to watch them interact.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell. And like sometimes I'll want to stop one of the little kids from doing something crazy. Like I'll see it coming, and one of the older girls that are like, when I use the word older loosely, like 9, I'm like, oh, grab that pencil from that, because we did color pencils today. But I think that the little kids, I'm like, you don't really need a colored pencil.
Just shoot your eye out.
You're just going to eat it. I had a big box of markers that I had bought at the store, and they kind of killed them. So I'm going to see if I can revive them a little bit. But that's all they want to do. They want to color and they want to play. But any new thing you bring, I bought a ream of copy paper at the market and just took it. And it's like, they call it sheet. I want a sheet. And now they're saying please. Because they were not saying please before. And I'm like, you know what? This is my 13th visit here. It is time for you guys to say please and thank you. I'm ready.
Let's get some manners rocking.
I'm ready. It's time. So, and some of the little girls that I'm really bonded to, like obviously our daughters, and then some of the older girls, they were they were still saying please, because I was making all the little kids say please every time, but the older girls, I'm like, just take your pencils. Like, I don't really care. Because I'm holding them like a deck of cards, the boxes. And the big girls, I'm like, you don't have to say please every time. Thanks for being a good example in the beginning. And yes, you can take more than one pencil at a time. But the little kids, I'm like, where's your other one? You got to give it back. So I guess we had fun today.
I think we did. Pencil for a pencil.
They seem like the culture and the sadness of one kid leaving, they seem to have rebounded from that. And that's something I guess as parents, we don't think as much about what's left behind when kids leave. There's 2 girls that are kind of on the older end, 7 to 9-ish range. And one of them specifically is 9. And I think she's 9, or she may be almost 9. And she's not matched yet. And I'm just looking at her thinking, this is so hard for you. I think every time someone comes, I really hope that she gets matched before I leave here. Because I want to be able to say, I know your parents. I heard you got parents coming. I want them all to have that moment, because some of the ones that I know their parents for sure, they know that I know them. And they know that I can communicate that they're okay. But all those kids deserve that.
Yeah.
So.
We don't really have any updates. There's a lot of pontificating, but there's
a lot of speculation about.
There's no sense in talking about it because it can change like the wind.
Yeah, and people keep asking me, and I think this is something I'm just going to say, and it's not going to hurt my feelings if someone asks me again, but like, these are our kids. So, I mean, we're going to do everything we can not to leave them here. If we're here for like 6 months and nothing has changed from today, then we're going to have to figure out how to get out of the country and come back in. We're probably going to have to figure out how to make some more money. We're still selling Noonday and taking donations if anybody wants to. It's on the description on every single video. Whatever, if we were able to get out of here quickly and go home, we would certainly give our resources for our fundraising to the next family that needs it coming to Liberia. Because that's kind of where we are. Thank you to our Fill the Box compadres. Jennifer Tilton is the director for our region, and she has really communicated with all of our normal sites that give us pretty good loads, like consignments and other nonprofits that help us with their excess churches and stuff. And she's got her own route. She's going to send the driver and go run the route for us just to make sure that we don't lose that throughput and that momentum.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, yeah. So that's good. Thank you. Fill the Box is a great company if you guys need fundraising and you haven't used them. Even if they don't have a route where you specifically live, I guarantee you have a relative or a friend or somebody where they run a route in the southeast, and you could take advantage of that. Funds to Orgs is another one that does all 50 states in the U.S., and they do a recycling program as well for shoes. But we were looking at, I was talking to Nelson about clothing here and those bright colors they sew together here, and possibly baby carrier stuff, like those wraps that you carry, or nursing covers, or even just the wraparound dresses so you just tie on the side. Mm-hmm. I think there's a market for that. So if you agree with me on that you think there's a market for that, and that you would buy a carrier or a shirt or a skirt or something from these they're going to be fabulous products with bright colors and hand sewn by the women at the Hobie orphanage and some of that community. Let me know, send me a message or drop a comment and say, hey, yeah, we would totally be interested in that. Because if they're able to do some things while we're here, maybe you guys can do some pre-ordering and I can bring that back without having to go through shipping costs. But it certainly would benefit this community for us to buy directly from them, similar to how Noonday does it, pay up front for something and then resell it in the U.S. and see. Obviously not looking to run a profit on that. But I would like for them to profit from it. Especially, it's more, it's different when you live in a country that is overwhelmed with poverty. And I was talking to Nelson, this is another thing, I was asking what happens if someone calls and he can't help. And he was telling me some scenarios where they've called him from the hospital because they know and they know either he has a young baby himself, or they know certain things, and those I'm like, what happens? And he's like, well, actually, if there's been incidences where if the mother dies or things like that, there are options there. You can contact the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and you can contact the Ministry of Justice. You can contact what's left of the biological family. If a lot of times the birth fathers will deny the pregnancy, they will say it's not their child, and there's no recourse for these women if they know for sure that this man is the father. It's not like they can be like, well, I say that you are. There doesn't seem to be a lot of recourse for that. So if someone, if somebody gets pregnant, even they're in a consensual relationship and they get pregnant, they can't hold the father responsible. Either he claims the pregnancy or he doesn't, but it's kind of in his court. So
yeah, that's a shame.
Yes, it's a shame. So sometimes, if a woman dies after delivering a healthy baby, where's that baby to go? Because the father already denied the pregnancy, and the birth family may not be able to help. But there have been instances where they're able to find, and the thing is there are people that do domestic adoptions here, and there's a bigger need. They need more people to do it here, but if they're able, they will take in extra kids. Nelson has 2 kids of his own and then 28 other kids that he's caring for. So the culture here, I know there's been a criticism well, why don't these kids just get to stay? As many that can possibly stay, we want to stay too. But
we may end up doing a domestic adoption.
We may just live in Liberia forever. But no, they do try to help. So that baby was actually not placed in an orphanage. There was a situation where a baby was born, the mother passed away, and it's happened more than once. And that baby was actually placed domestic adoption and found a family. And usually they will call the government officials or the doctors, or the higher ups. They'll call them and say, hey, you want a baby? And most of them do have children, lots of them. So Today was International Women's Day, which is great. They did a parade here in all the government official offices, not just the Ministry of Gender for Women and Social Protection. Ministry of Gender basically just means Ministry of Protection of Women. So like when I say Ministry of Gender, it's really just to protect women. They did a parade today. Yeah, women and kids. But gender itself, they're talking about like the gender disparities between men and women here are pretty stark. But yeah, they got to, they did a big parade, and like I let the girls watch it on Facebook Live.
The police were there.
The police were there. We're hoping that they're going to go right back to their desk and start doing their job to move forward our adoption. The Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Justice, the Liberian National Police, all the committees, all the departments had kind of their own thing, and they had decided to wear the colors for International Women's Day is green, purple, and white. Historically, those are the green, purple, and white is what you wear. And so I wore my white kawa print today with my black dots on it. And but they did a parade, and I'm really proud of Liberia on that, because I think it's good to stop on these internationally renowned days. So since 1911 is when International Women's Day became a thing. I honestly didn't learn that much about it until noonday, like the noonday push for it. Noonday sold bracelets today. But, and they're donating the proceeds to Peru to decrease violence against women there. But yeah, I think Liberia did a good job today, just pausing and trying to value their women more, because that's part of the problem. I did a reel yesterday on Instagram and kind of shared it a few times with my daughter playing hopscotch kind of with herself and her little feet. But if you think about Liberia's number 187 out of 195 countries across the world, in terms of financial wealth, Liberia ranks 187th. So orphaned girls in Liberia are some of the most vulnerable people in all the world, because you got to think where their country ranks and then where they rank in society. So women here in society, women are definitely considered less than men. Daughters are considered less than sons, and that's just culturally what it is. Now there are like today they did a parade, like they're working to change that. I think they know that it's not right, but culturally you don't see women driving cars around as taxi drivers. You don't see women driving motorcycles around and making that money.
No, and
you see a lot of them selling bread.
You know what helps these girls, these orphan girls? Adoption.
Just having a family, yeah. Adoption helps them. And so they can be educated, and so that they can, and one of the families did a kind of an idea of like getting the nannies to give the girls, do a video for their adopted child so that they can show that to that adopted child when the kid's like 20 or 25 years old. And she did a good job. But one of the things she said on the video was like, oh, I hope that you come back to Liberia and help the children that need, like you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Really sweet.
And that's what they'll do.
You'll see that though. A lot of the women that are in power that we've met, they've all gone to the States and then they've came back to work. I've met a lot of people that have done that.
Yeah, they're good people. So today we are proud of Liberia. We're glad that they stopped and recognized International Women's Day. We found out that our kids and all the girls at the orphanage, specifically the girls, are very good at jump rope, and their feet are super fast. And so there's not a lot of play area. One thing I think, so the oven, if anybody wants to help out with the oven, that you want to help us with that, we're trying not to just constantly just buy the first thing that we know that they could use, but like a couple $100 would buy them like a plug-in oven, and it would be like the size of a big microwave, but it would bake things. Like cookies and cakes, especially for their birthdays, and muffins, and so they kind of diverse their diet. Yeah, the bread. That would be good. So let me know if that's something you would like to sponsor, and we can make sure the orphanage gets it. Specifically, if you want to be like, I want to get the oven, that's fine. They're also like, I mean, if they had a basketball goal or something, like even just like a basketball goal to shoot at and play with, that would be good. And that's something that, you could get one that you could fill with sand and they could take it with them. They just need stuff like that. And the thing is you could get them, like we've gotten them a soccer ball since we got here, but like there's 30, I mean, there's a lot of kids. So whatever you get, make sure it's durable, and keep in mind it may not last a super long time, but just watching them jump rope. I mean, it took them an hour to break the jump rope, but I'm going to get a higher quality one sent from the States.
You had a great idea to just tie a knot on the end. They can still hold it.
They still did it, and they're still playing with it, and they're chewing on it. I'm like, don't eat everything. But like, just they want to draw and color, and then they just want to like sidewalk chalk. I wish I would have brought sidewalk chalk because they would have gone crazy with that.
One thing I noticed is that all those children have really nice teeth.
They have good teeth. I think it's
really
genetic. They do brush their teeth at night. They brush their teeth. They keep their toothbrush at their bed, and they brush their teeth every night. We've heard.
All have really white, bright smiles. Good teeth.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Some of them are a little crooked, but we'll fix that later.
I had that too.
Me too.
Mr. Bucktooth.
Where are you? But that was fun.
Not really.
Nelson parked his car here, and he's taking the cab home. So he was like, Jeremy, if you need to drive, you can. Keep in mind, FYI, Jeremy's not going to drive anywhere.
I may tomorrow during the day. Watch out, KKs. Watch out.
So it's got insurance now. It's all up to date. But he was just thinking it would be cheaper for gas if he just left it here until Monday rather than drive it back and forth. Because he can just get home for $4 or $5 max. And so
I can just turn the lights on. The police lights.
Yeah. So Jeremy's so you can drive in Liberia. So I could drive too. So if you have an American driver's license, the first 90 days that you're here after your plane lands, so you need to keep proof of your travel itinerary, like your plane tickets in your wallet should you choose to drive. But you can't, you don't, like, what did he say he has pepper spray or mace or something, or a taser?
He has a taser. Yeah.
But you can drive for 3 months, and after that 3 months you can get a driver's license. You probably don't have to take a test if you're an American and you have an American driver's license, but you have to pay a fee. So Jeremy is we're still in that first 90 days. You can go drive around.
Yeah, that would be.
So Nelson was like, feel free to drive if you want to. And I'm like, no thanks.
Would be
I am going to get Jeremy to go talk to the front desk about the fact that it's parked here and that we're renting it, I guess.
Renting it,
sort of renting it.
Do I need a sticker?
Yeah, just let them know, because sometimes they move things around in their parking lot on the weekends. So we'll make sure that they know that that's our vehicle. But yeah, what else? If Jeremy decides to drive around Monrovia, that will be so funny.
I would be really, I don't know, man. Like, imagine me getting into a car wreck. I have to talk to the Liberian police.
I just don't want you to get abducted and like the car's stolen. That would be difficult to replace.
Are you saying I look like a victim?
I would rather you take a KK or something. I feel safer with you getting a KK than getting Savior stolen.
It's true.
That Armada, man, we would never be able to. It's a 2005 Nissan Armada.
Yeah,
with 258,000 miles on it.
In 6 years, it's going to be an antique.
258,000 miles on it.
That thing will be worth some money.
Yeah, man. It's still going. So if you're thinking about buying a Nissan Armada and you're wondering, is it going to make it? Chances are.
I've seen one in Liberia that's going.
Chances are, yeah. Toyota Corollas, we've seen those too, although I did see one getting towed today.
I saw an F-150 crew cab today. Oh, and I saw a Jeep Wrangler that was jacked up.
It was nice.
Dude, that's a
probably $60,000
Nelson
said they're probably drug dealers.
It's so nice.
International drug dealers. I'm like, oh, good. Let's follow them. Where are they going? Are they going to the U.S. Embassy?
Probably.
Hopefully not.
Useless.
So yeah, I'm gonna splice on a video at the very end of this one of a guy on a motorcycle carrying a door. Just so you guys know. We're gonna leave it with that.
A door on a motorcycle is not very aerodynamic. I wouldn't.
No, but it's hysterical. And he drove pretty fast. He's holding a door. There's two guys holding a door.
Props to that guy. Anything else?
Yeah, no. Day 68.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Let's go make some rice.
Bye. This guy is carrying a door on his motorcycle as he drives down the road.
That's serious, man.